Hi everybody, welcome to my studio. My name is Laura and this is the I Heart Knitting podcast. You can find me on the rest of the internet as I Heart You, that is spelled E-W-E. That is the name of my Etsy shop where I sell handmade project bags and other items for knitters, as well as my Instagram handle, and you can find me on Ravelry as I Heart You Knits. I will put all of that information down below, as well as many things that I can think to link to. As always, you can drop me a message in the comments if you had any questions or needed any clarification on anything, something that I may have forgotten to provide information for, or if you were just curious about something that I glossed over. I'm happy to help you with that. So first things first, I got a new phone, which is really exciting. I do all of my photography and recording of content on my phone, and I'm hoping the camera and the video quality are going to be noticeably better. They look like everything looks great on the screen so far, so we'll see how it looks when I edit. But I'm hoping that if anything, sound and video quality will be better than ever. I think that is it for intro stuff. First kind of admin thing I wanted to talk about is the contest that I announced on the last YouTube video and asked just for you to leave a comment to enter the contest and let me know how long you have been watching the I Heart Knitting channel. So it was really great. I just wanted to thank everybody who entered that contest, and also I just wanted to thank everybody for the comments. I started reading them the other day and I was overwhelmed in like the nicest possible way. The comments that you all left were, you know, of course, way above and beyond what I had asked for, and so many positive things. Really appreciated hearing what you enjoyed about the podcast, because some of the things I have been doing consciously, and then other things I have not been doing so consciously, but you're resonating with that. So that's really great. So this was the project bag that I chose for the giveaway. And then we have this beautiful yarn, and this is from Seawall Fibers, which is out in Nova Scotia, Canada. And then this isn't like super successful, but it looked cuter in my head, but I filled up this little organizer with some stitch markers and things that match the bag and the yarn. And so this is going to the contest winner, whose name is Barbara Hart. So Barbara Hart with an H. That is your YouTube name, and if that is you, please send me either an email or a message through social media or something like that and get in contact with me. And Barbara, congratulations. This is your prize package with the roller skate bag and the sock yarn and the little organizer with matching stitch markers. So yes, thank you for entering that, and I will get that mailed off. The other thing I wanted to mention, which is kind of an admin thing, is if you see these two different sock patterns above my head, they're designed by Mara Catherine Bryner. They used to be Orangeknits on Ravelry. I think they might have just changed their handle to their name. If you've been watching for a while, my sock episode where I did my box of socks, I mentioned both of these patterns. This is the Jelly Rolls sock pattern, and then on this side, this is the How I Roll sock pattern. So I mentioned in my box of socks video how much I loved the fade instructions for this sock up here. So there's actually 5 different colors of sock yarn in that, and it fades so beautifully. So either way, I talked about that, and at the time their patterns were not available to purchase anywhere on Ravelry or anything like that. But since then, I just noticed last week they have kind of started Instagramming again, and I went on Ravelry and you can buy their patterns again. So I wanted to mention that because so many people had asked about the patterns and if there was another place to get them when I did my box of socks video. I thought that I would let you all know that they are available now, and I'll put a link down below to their Ravelry shop. I'm not sure if they're selling on any other platforms right now, but if I have time, I'll have a look at that before I put the video up as well. So that's great news if you were wanting to get the pattern, because I already owned them from several years ago, and I know there were a few people who mentioned they wanted to buy it but were not able to. So great news. You can now go and buy that on Ravelry. And I think that's pretty much it for admin stuff now. So we're gonna get into some knitting today. First things first, I'm wearing my pink velvet sweater. This is my most recent sweater finish from like 4 months ago, I think. And this is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, and it is knit in this beautiful kind of eggplanty purple color. And then this is a finger or lace weight mohair held double, and both of these yarns are dyed by my friend Knits, who is down in Texas. And I love it. I put it on and was just immediately very happy today because it just fits really well. I mentioned when I knit this that I did go up in needle size, and I think that was a really good choice for me for the color work and as well for just getting a nice accurate gauge on my final product. So that's what I'm wearing. And then today we're going to do a whip down. I started knitting again. I know I mentioned in the last video that I wasn't doing a ton of knitting, was busy with outdoor projects and things. We bought a trailer, a bowler trailer that's like 50 years old, one of those vintage fiberglass trailers. And so that's going to be a big project for us as well. But I did do a lot of knitting in the last few days. I'm going to give you kind of a status update on a few things, and then I'm going to make some decisions on some other things that I haven't worked on in a while. So the first thing that I wanted to show you is the Cozy Classic Raglan. Now this is going great. This is a pattern by Jessie Made Designs. Jessie May is a beautiful designer with the most thoughtful patterns. They are very size inclusive and very instructive, as well as with lots of information on how to tailor your sweater or garment, whatever the garment may be, to your body. So I can say nothing bad at all. I have only good things to say about Jessie Made Designs. And so this is my Cozy Classic Raglan. It's turning out really great. I'm knitting this out of a Knit Picks yarn. So this is Knit Picks Swish GK in the Lemongrass Heather. Now I do have an affiliate link down below if you want to shop Knit Picks. If you are just shopping with Knit Picks anyways, you can follow that affiliate link. So yeah, I have no big updates from the last time other than I have split for the sleeves and I knit the entire body, and I've just done a couple rounds of ribbing here. So the body called for 7 inches of stockinette. I think I pushed that to about 8 or 9 inches. I want it to be about 12 inches total when I'm finished. So I did push the length a little bit on it. But other than that, it is knit to pattern. I'm knitting I think it's the 42 inch. I'm really happy with it. I love it. It's going to be a great sweater. The next thing I wanted to show you that I did some work on, I think it's in this one, is my Flax Light. So this is the baby Flax Light sweater pattern. And this is a pattern by Tin Can Knits. And I've said this before, but Tin Can Knits is also a wonderful pattern designer, like collective. It's 2 women who design for them, and they have really amazing patterns. A lot of them are free, and they go from like a newborn baby size to an adult 4XL, most of them. So if you haven't checked out Tin Can Knits, I would recommend Tin Can Knits patterns as well. Very instructive. And a lot of them, they have a whole series of patterns, which I think the Flax is part of, which is basically designed to be very simple and allow you to make your first garment or sock or anything like that. So either way, this is my little baby Flax Light. This is the 6 to 12 month size. This is my favorite thing to make, just to have a few baby knits on hand. I like to use 1 skein of sock yarn and do these cute little baby sweaters. So 6 to 12 month size, I do a very, very stretchy cast on. So that is Judy's Magic Cast On. Is that right? I think so. It's a long tail cast on basically. On anything where you can get that nice stretch will be great for, you know, putting this on littles. And then I do Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off on the bottom and the sleeves for the same reason, so that they are extra stretchy, and then the sleeves can be turned up at the cuffs if they're too long or anything like that. So yeah, it's a very simple little raglan. It has a garter edge detail. That's what I wanted to show you. I'm doing the sleeves 2 at a time right now. So it looks a little funny, but what you end up doing is you have your sleeves on the needles like this. And if you're familiar with magic loop, you're just magic looping, but with 2 different things going. So I do have, you know, a bit of a yarn barf going right now because I'm using the inside and the outside of the same ball. As I said to someone the other day, I chose chaos with this project by doing this. There are definitely ways that you can organize your yarn, or I could have rolled off a little bit into a separate ball, but apparently I just felt like doing this the difficult way. But I do really like doing the 2 at a time sleeves, because what that means, when I'm finished these sleeves, I'm finished. You know, these are kind of small fiddly sleeves to start with, so it doesn't feel that much more fiddly for me to have them on the needle at the same time. Yeah, like I said, if you manage your yarn better than I do, it's a really great technique that I polled people on Instagram, and a lot of people hadn't tried. So if you haven't tried the sleeves 2 at a time, maybe try it on a smaller project like this where you're not going to be stuck with it for a really long time, and see what you think of it. And then the only other thing that I wanted to mention about this Flax Light pattern is I find that speckled sock yarn really pools when I get to the body count on the stitches. So as you can see here, I've just alternated using the yarn from the inside and the outside of the ball, and then every 2 rounds I switch and carry the other one up. So this has just prevented a lot of pooling for me. One side had a lot of pooling on it. Yeah, so you can see here, if I hadn't alternated from pulling from the inside and the outside of the ball, this blue patch would have been almost like a solid stripe all the way down vertically. But I've managed to kind of break it up a little bit by using the 2 different yarn. So those are my recommendations for the Flax Light pattern. If you're giving it to new parents, make the 6 to 12 month size. It will use less than 1 skein of sock yarn. If you use sock yarn, it's washable, which is great for new parents. And it won't be the end of the world if it goes in the dryer. Do the sleeves 2 at a time and carry your speckled yarn, you know, alternate skeins, or pull from the inside and the outside of the ball. So now you have all the information you need. You can go out and knit your own baby Flax Light. This yarn is by the Fawn Knits, and they're no longer dyeing, but it is a very beautiful gray with bright speckles on it. So the next few things, some of them are a little problematic. Some of them we're going to change up. The first thing is these socks. You know what? These aren't that problematic. So I hadn't actually pulled these out of the bag when I thought about this, but I was thinking about ripping these back and then knitting them just in plain stockinette, so they look like the bottom of the foot here. But 1, now that I'm looking at how much of this I have done, and 2, looking at it with all the texture, I don't mind. So I'm going to keep going with this one. Yeah, no, they look fine. No, these aren't getting pulled out. Okay, so I have nothing really to say about those, because I was going to tell you all about how I thought that they were too textured and the pattern was getting lost, but now that I look at them, they're fine. And then these socks are also not problematic. They haven't changed much since since you saw them last. Nothing wrong with these. These are just the self-striping Knit Picks Fleechy self-striping sock yarn in the colorway Hopscotch. And I've done a Fish Lips Kiss Heel in some sort of really woolly wool here. No issues there. This is a problematic one. Yeah, that I think I'm going to do some work on. It's inside out right now. These are the Fluorite socks by Andrea Mowry. They're intended to be worn with the reverse stockinette side out. And I'm just not loving the fade on these. it's not very successful in my opinion. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do with these is rip all of this back to where I started fading in the new color and just knit them all in this black color. That's going. And then this is a project that if you've been with the channel for a while, you will recognize. This is a project that I started in sometime during early 2020 quarantine. This is my stone crop sweater by Andrea Mowry. Stone crop with no baubles. And the pattern is beautiful. This yarn is beautiful. The yarn is by Flock Fiber Company. It's not working together well. I think the white tonal aspect of this background color is really affecting how you see this color work and how your eye perceives it. It's muddy a little bit until you get really close. And the yarn is such a beautiful color. I love this color so much that I don't think this is doing justice to it. I'm actually also worried I'm going to run out of yarn on this because I've now increased the size from my original plan 2 years ago. So I just feel like, with this pattern especially, a lot of things have changed for me in the last 2 years. And it's, it's just not panning out the way that I thought it would, which is really funny because I made a few like pattern decisions around that time and several of them just didn't work out. I think that I was probably just in it for the process rather than the actual product. So now that I'm looking at this and thinking about it as an actual product, I think that I will go through the whole process of knitting this and I will never wear it. So either way, I have a plan for the main color yarn, but I'll tell you about that, I think, next time. I think I know what I want to do with it, and I'm kind of excited about it. Remember when I talked to you in early 2022, I said that I wasn't going to start any new sweater projects until I finished the sweater projects I have planned. But maybe this will be a little bit of a cheat because I kind of already have this in progress. So, yeah, that one kind of hurts. I've put a lot of hours into it. I enjoyed the time I put into it. And if I know I'm not going to wear the finished thing, then maybe I should just take that for what it is. And, thank you, project, for giving me the distraction I needed several times over the last 2 years when I needed that kind of a project. And then move on. So maybe you can tell me down below how you feel about this. Like, how hard is it for you to frog projects? How hard is it for you to admit when something isn't working? Because sometimes for me it's very difficult. And the funniest thing is when, something will be feeling very painful, like not physically, but just don't want to work on it, not feeling good about it. And then when I kind of finally acknowledge that it's not working, when I acknowledge what I knew all along, there's kind of just this like release and I feel a lot better afterwards. So I think we're going to be moving on to sewing here. I have some project bags to show you that will be in the shop on Friday, April 22nd. So I'll show you those, but then I wanted to show you one other thing that I finished, which is a very long-standing work in progress. It is this quilt. So I can't really show you the whole thing, but this is called the Fancy Fox Quilt. This is a pattern by, I believe her name is Elizabeth Hartman. She is a very well-known quilt designer and has a whole series with animals. I got this kit a really long time ago. I think I looked up, so I got the kit before this, and then I looked up a photo and I started this quilt in like June 2016, I think, and finished the top really quickly and then never quilted it. So I finally got this quilted. I just did it with like wavy lines on my machine. It's not perfect, but it's done. yeah, I got the binding attached and everything, so I'm really happy that that's finished. So thought you might want to see that. It's just a really fun pattern. It's totally in my colors. This background is the Essex linen, which is that cotton linen fabric that I use a lot for the base of my bags. Like this is Essex linen over on this side too. Oh, here's Sammy. Where is he? Hi, buddy. Hello. Hello. There we go. Sammy is my senior Labrador Coonhound mix. He's our little rescue puppy. He's not a puppy. He's 12 and a half years old. But yeah, please excuse his clicking as he gets settled. He's probably wondering why I'm sitting here in the corner talking to a phone. So my next shop update is going to be on April 22nd. So that's Friday, April 22nd. And I have these really great Ruby Star Society fabrics that have just been released in the last probably like month or so. They haven't been out for very long. They're fairly new. So they're not all finished yet. I have a whole bunch cut over here, but I have a few sock size ones that I thought I'd show you, and then I thought I could show you some of the other fabrics of, you know, the bags that aren't finished yet. So I'm planning to have like a pretty good variety, a couple of each size, and then I'm also doing some lavender sachets, but all centered around the 8 prints that you're going to see next. So I have this dark roller skate print. This is metallic gold on here, as well as this bright roller skate print. These are really great sock size. And then this is also Ruby Star Society fabric on the inside of a lot of them. And then this mushrooms in this pinky and red. And then also the mushrooms in this darker blue with the pink. I really love these. I've been hunting morels on the island lately, so the mushrooms were really resonating with me. So I've been looking for them on the ground. I have this one here with the metallic, and then this one with the bright pink. I'm going to have 2 identical large size bags in each print. So there'll be 4 bags out of these total, 2 and 2 in the large zipper size. And then I also have this really fun typewriter print. This is a Melody Miller print, and I have it in this quilting cotton with the mustard and the aqua blue. And then I also have it in canvas. So this is on a different scale. You can see that the typewriters are much bigger on the canvas version. But this is the heavier weight cotton canvas from Ruby Star, and it's in like a really rich teal with this kind of gold and pink. Yeah, so have a look for those in the shop on Friday. I don't give exact times on my updates because I've had issues with that in the past. But what I do is, Sammy, but what I do is as soon as the update is live, I post on Instagram about it. So if you don't want to miss the update, you can just turn on post notifications for, you know, a couple days until Friday's over. You can always turn them back off again if you want, but I don't post that often, so you're not going to get a lot of notifications. Either way, and then you will be sure to catch that update because I will post right away. What happens with my updates is there's usually lots of stock in the shop generally, but 1 or 2 things will sell out really quickly. I never know what's going to sell out. I can guess, but I never know what's going to be popular until it goes up. So yeah, like I said, if you want to catch something, then you can always turn on post notifications or keep an eye on Instagram on Friday the 22nd. Or if you missed it, don't stress, you know, don't worry about it because there's usually lots of things left in the shop. You know, I try and keep stock in there. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to tell you. Yeah, I'm hoping to be back in 2 weeks rather than 3 or 4. We did have a power outage for like a day and a half, and then it was on again, and then it was off another half day. So last week was just a write-off. It's amazing how a storm and a power outage can just throw off your week completely. So either way, thanks for your patience in me getting out this video. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for joining me. If you are celebrating this weekend, enjoy the weekend. If you were just celebrating having a long weekend and a day off work, I hope that you enjoy that. And if you're working this weekend, as many of my friends are, because I have lots of friends in the service industry, I hope you have a good work weekend as well. And I hope that you can take some time to relax at another time. So goodbye from Sammy and I on Pender Island. I hope you have a great 2 weeks, and we'll talk to you again soon.